another episode of I Wonder, Doctor.
Let's talk about stress and heartburn.
Now, you've brought this up in other episodes before, and I guess I vaguely understand that there's some relationship between the two, but I don't know what it is. How does stress trigger heartburn?
Well, let me tell you a story. I grew up in Detroit, about a mile away from William Beaumont Hospital. And only in many years later did I ever get the significance of that. He was a physician about 300 years ago that encountered a man who had a healed bullet wound into his abdomen in which there was a hole there. It's called a fistula. You could see right into the stomach.
It was a permanent window into his stomach.
Exactly. And he put food in this man's mouth and saw juices come out of the stomach. Hydrochloric acid is what it was. And then he got this man angry and upset. And juices poured out of this man's stomach, just like the food made it do. Fast forward to this century, when it's been discovered that stress itself causes a relaxation of the muscle that closes off the lower end of the esophagus, the tubes that runs to the stomach, where it joins the stomach, which seals the esophagus off from the stomach under ordinary circumstances.
Because heartburn is actually those acids getting up into the esophagus. That's what
burns.
It.
And so if stress causes relaxation of the sphincter and you got hydrochloric acid in your stomach, it could upchuck and burn that esophagus. The relationship to heartburn.
Okay, so here's the rubber hitting the road, right? I'm having a bad day and my boss walks into the room and says something mean. How do I not do that?
We all know we're reacting to someone who's in a bad space, saying something that is unhelpful and hurtful. We all know where reaction goes.
Yeah.
So it's a skill to learn how not to react and just say, oh, or just whatever. You can then turn your attention to yourself. Try and identify the emotions that you're actually feeling. In that instance, perhaps you're feeling anger. Perhaps you're feeling shame. Perhaps you're feeling fear that you could lose your job. The technique is to recognize the feelings that you're feeling and feel them. Now, picture a young child running into a room, upset, crying. The very best thing you could do for that child is to say, come here, honey, it's okay, sit in my lap. It's okay that you're sad. You go ahead and cry. I'm going to go silent. What you're doing is you're being a safe space and an accepting person for that child. And those tears are going to melt away pretty quickly, especially if the child has a pretty decent life otherwise.
So it's basically what we need to do for ourselves.
Precisely. It's a skill, amazing, to not run away and react in some foolish way that just heightens everything, makes them worse, and to pause, to recognize what we're feeling, recognize what's going on in us, and be the safe and accepting space for our own self.
All right, so let's say I had a window into my stomach right now.
Yeah.
In real world practice, have you seen people pull this off, have the exact same thing happen in the world, and respond to it so differently that they don't produce this stress, this acid, this heartburn?
Well, I described a skill that sounds pretty simple on paper.
Yeah.
But, you know, it can take a lot of practice to get that good at it. And there comes a point where you get so good at recognizing your own emotions that they don't go on to trigger the biology of the stress response. You don't pump out the extra adrenaline. You don't pump out the extra hydrochloric acid when you don't need it. Yes, you can get so skillful that you're no longer disrupting your own health and your own body by how you're responding to stress. Quite a journey, quite a skill. Go after it. It's so worth it.
Great. Thanks.